Hi, this is Robert with Space Age Consulting, and I'm here to talk to you about my experience at NAB New York 2017. So the other day, I received this phone call from Colin Sandy of Sandy Audio Visual, and he says, "Would you like to take a day trip to New York for NAB?" I'm like, "Sure, why not? It's another chance for me to touch technology. I'll go." So we got up early one morning, early. All right, I'm up this morning. It's almost 5 o'clock, getting ready for my road trip to NAB New York. Let's see how this day turns out. Hopped into the car and drove on up to New York. 4-hour drive. It's actually 3 hours to the border of New York, then 1 hour to get into Manhattan, find parking, and walk to the Javits Center. There, we were met with a long line. Now, to be fair, the organizers of NAB New York did send out an apology email for the long line. See, what happened was they had 10 kiosks where you can sign in and get your badge, but they only had one line to the 10 kiosks. So the line was wrapping around and down the hall and around the... Needless to say, it was a little bit of a mess. However, once we got our badges, it was smooth sailing in. The first booth we saw was the Canon booth with quite a few great products, stabilizers, different weights for different cameras, and we spent a little bit of time there. But then right next to the Canon booth was the Canon booth. I got to touch the C200. I got to really operate it and see what its capabilities were in a short-term basis. Now, there's quite a few reviews out there about the C200. But I'll say from my brief experience, the thing that jumped out to me most was the lack of noise in the image. It did have a great lens on it, but even then, we're talking about inside a convention center. The lights aren't movie quality lights. They're not even lights like I have here. This is convention center lights. We zoomed in on an image. There was no noise in the shadows. I think that's going to be phenomenal. For the price point you can get, I spec'd out a system with extra batteries, CFast cards, and we're looking at about $9,000. But that's a great $9,000 spent for one full setup where you can do documentaries, shorts, movies, long format, whatever you can throw at it, this camera can do. I want to spend more time with it, so I may end up renting it myself and using it for my documentary that I'm working on. Past the Canon booth, you had your usual major companies at these conventions. You had Newtek, Blackmagic Design, Sony, Panasonic, JVC. You also had a couple of smaller companies, and I'm going to come back to them a little bit later. One booth we did spend some time at was at the Newtek booth, where we actually interviewed Chris Burgess of Newtek Inc. He explained to us a lot of what they've been doing lately in terms of their TC1, their Connect Spark, web streaming, how they're utilizing NDI, how they're really pushing the market in terms of equipment connectivity. They also spoke about their new camera, which is NDI based. It's a PTZ IP based camera. We spent quite a bit of time. A link to the video will be over one of my shoulders. And it was a 15-minute interview and with a lot of great information. We also spent time at the Newtek booth. This is a great company with a nice little mixer. This mixer, it's a 4-port mixer. They also have a 6-port coming out real soon. But this 4-port mixer has a unique feature of having scalers on each of their inputs. What that means is you can send any resolution signal to it and it will scale it to the proper output. That's great. The best part is this mixer is going to be under $1,000. That's something for houses of worship or smaller organizations to really take a look at. And they'll be able to use this easy to carry, lightweight, but feature-rich mixer in a lot of different production environments. We spent a little bit of time at Blackmagic Design's booth checking out their new mixer as well. This is about a $2,200 mixer with a lot of features. This is a one unit. You can take it anywhere, has great inputs, SDI and HDMI, and you can do your production right from this one mixer. You don't need any extra parts, any extra drivers, anything. And with their web streamer, you'll be able to stream directly from the mixer to YouTube Live, Facebook Live, wherever you need to. So these great products were here at NAB New York. Along with the NAB convention, right next door, within the same Jacob Javits Center, was AES. They were having their audio engineers conference, which means we got to spend time at the Sennheiser booth, the Shure booth, Tascam. So many other products and manufacturers were there at the same time, and they had a real professional conference going on there. At the AES conference is where I came across one of my favorite products. Now, I had come across this product at NAB and at Infocom this year, but it's the Triad Orbit tripod, modular tripod setup. So what you're talking about here is you're able to buy the one stand and then buy attachment arms that you can set up for your lights, your cameras, and your microphone. So hard to do this in mirror mode. But what this means is you can buy pieces, attachments as you need them. It's a great product. It's something I'm more than happy to invest in. There's so many different parts. Now, I spent so much time talking to them that I didn't even get any good footage of it. Now, the best thing about that product is, while it's not the least expensive tripod, it is completely sturdy and it's completely modular. So in a setup like what I'm doing here, recording without an assistant, I could have arms for my lights, arms for the microphone, arms for the monitor, arms for the camera, and then adjust it very simply as I need. It makes it far easier to do a one-man shoot, one-man interview, because it's just one piece. You have one bag with all your parts in it. You don't need multiple tripods, and you don't need multiple light stands. One stand base with the attachments, and it'll work just fine. Along with the Newtek interview, at the AES conference, we were able to interview Dan Dugan of the Automix fame. This is a legend. He's been working on this product since the 60s. And he was able to introduce some of the integration with the new Yamaha mixers. We had a great interview with him. See it over one of these shoulders again. Great interview we spent speaking to him about his technology, how he got into the industry, and where he's going to be going, moving further with this Automix. If you haven't experienced the Automix before, I suggest you read into it. It is great for any conference setup where you have multiple microphones open. It can handle volume levels quicker than you can. Doesn't matter how good of an engineer you are, this is a great product. Look it up, Automix. So along with the interviews, we got to spend some time walking and talking to people. It's what I really love about these conferences. Not just touching the technology, but speaking to the engineers behind it, speaking to some of the knowledgeable people who really put time and effort into these products. And I came across a small company. The husband and wife team were there, but it's called Record Me. Yeah, they can be found at recordme.co. I was able to speak to John Fiorello, and he explained to me what this product is. Record Me is a way for engineers to work with talent in different cities, in different states, even in different countries. Basically what it is the engineer gets a device, the artist gets a separate device. They're able to plug in their microphone, send their soundtracks to it, and the engineer across the globe can record the session, edit it, mix it, master it, and send it back. This means you can cut down on your travel budget by 100% by just investing in renting these products, getting your engineer to get the other part, and then recording wherever. You can work with any engineer anywhere. You can have your own home booth, in your closet even. Record your session and have the engineer work on it. This is a great product. In fact, someone had asked me about a product like this years ago. Now, while audio engineering isn't my main thing, I don't really do studio engineering, I know of quite a few studio engineers that would love this product. Now, why, may you ask, did I attend 3 separate conferences this year and I'm signed up for another one when mostly the technology gets announced just once? Well, like I said, it's a great opportunity to really get hands-on with the equipment I may not be able to get access to on a regular basis. It's a great opportunity to speak to the people behind the product, find out more about them and their story, and then it's an absolutely wonderful opportunity to meet new people. There's quite a few interesting people I've met, some really great technology out there that people are introducing and starting to use, and it's always good to be one of the first to hear about them and then really get a chance to speak to the people behind it. I really suggest, if you get the opportunity, especially if they're local within your area, there's quite a few different technology audiovisual conferences that are available, and we suggest that you try to attend at least one a year. Don't just take the announcement, don't just take people's word for it. Go out there and experience it for yourself. For more information about NAB 2017, why don't you check out our podcast? It's called Unwired the Podcast. You could find it at www.unwiredthepodcast.com. If you like this video, go ahead and subscribe. You can also subscribe to our podcast. We're on Google, we're on iTunes, we should be on SoundCloud real soon. And for more information, you can check out www.spaceage-llc.com. There you can find out some of the other videos that we've done in the past and some of the other things that we're talking about and doing. As always, thanks for watching, and here's hoping you'll see me soon.